Hi, it's Kira, and this is my screencast for my lesson plan. I chose my lesson plan based on the book Have You Filled a Bucket Today by Carol McLeod. The skills being taught by my book would be the character counts points that I made are 3.4, which is positive relationships, and 2.7, which is self-improvement. Positive relationships meaning the student-to-student relationship, parent-to-student relationship, those types of relationships. And self-improvement is exactly what it means, yourself, and how to make yourself better. The tiers and where it fits. The tiers would be few, which is individual social skills instruction, some, which is small group skills instruction, and all, which would be school-wide and class-wide expectations, routines, class meeting, positive to negative, ratio of 4 to 1, and behavior-specific praise. In this lesson in particular, I believe that it falls in the all tier category, which is the bottom of the pyramid. We want everybody in the building to have that positive relationship and to have the self-improvement skills. How can this negatively affect others? My examples would be when you are telling the story or giving an example in which a situation close to the book happened to you, they may have trouble relating to it themselves because that exact situation has not happened to them. When you're reading the book and you try to relate it to yourself, you may use a personal example. Students at a younger age may feel that, oh, I haven't had that personal example happen to me yet, so maybe this doesn't have anything to do with me. My second example is, when you ask your students a question or questions, some may feel like they don't see the point in sharing, or that they are not comfortable sharing something. No one may share or answer the question, so they feel unable to fully participate in what the lesson is. You have to be careful in the questions that you ask. You don't want to ask something that may bring upon some unsure feelings or some uncomfortableness. You would never want your students to feel that way. The objective of the social skills lesson is, and meaning in this is just the overall purpose of my lesson. The purpose of my lesson is, have you filled your bucket? Should you be a bucket filler? Do you want to be a bucket dipper? So in filling or dipping into somebody's bucket, it's pretty much you want to encourage people. You want to be positive towards people, not negative. So you want to fill the bucket. So I want my students to be able to say, Miss Leach, I filled a bucket today. I was so nice to him, and he filled mine right back up because he said the same exact thing to me, or we vibed off of each other in a positive way, or something like that. You want your kids to communicate well to each other, not in a negative sense. Two of my key terms from my book would be a compliment, which is a polite expression of praise or admiration, and a bully is someone who uses strength or power to harm or intimidate those who are said to be weaker. Some other terms that you can just throw at them that might necessarily need to be defined would be bucket filler, and you're going to hear a lot of bucket dipper, positive, happy, sad, calm, empty. Those are all words that are going to be in the book that not necessarily they may not know, but you can just have those in your hat just in case. Okay, now let's read Have You Filled Your Bucket Today by Carol McLeod. Have you filled your bucket today? A Guide to Daily Happiness for Kids by Carol McLeod. All day long, everyone in the whole wide world walks around carrying an invisible bucket. You can't see it, but it's there. You have a bucket. Each member of your family has a bucket. Your grandparents, friends, and neighbors, they all have a bucket. Everyone carries an invisible bucket. Your bucket has one purpose only. Its purpose is to hold your good thoughts and good feelings about yourself. You feel very happy and good when your bucket is full, and very sad and lonely when your bucket is empty. Other people feel the same way too. They're happy when their buckets are full, and they're sad when their buckets are empty. It's great to have a full bucket, and this is how it works. You need other people to fill your bucket, and other people need you to fill theirs. You can fill your own bucket too. So how do you fill a bucket? You fill a bucket when you show love to someone, when you say or do something kind, or even when you give someone a smile. That's being a bucket filler. A bucket filler is a loving, caring person who says or does nice things that make others feel special. When you make someone feel special, you are filling a bucket. But you can also dip into a bucket and take someone's good feelings. You dip into a bucket when you make fun of someone, when you say or do mean things, or even when you ignore someone. That's being a bucket dipper. A bully is a bucket dipper. A bucket dipper says or does mean things that makes others feel bad. Many people who dip have an angry bucket. They think they can fill their own bucket by dipping into someone else's, but that will never work. You will never fill your own bucket when you dip into someone else's. But guess what? When you fill someone's bucket, you fill your own bucket too. You feel very good when you help others feel good. All day long, we are either filling up or dipping into each other's buckets by what we say and what we do. Try to fill a bucket and see what happens. You love your mom and dad. Why not tell them you love them? You can even tell them why. Your caring words will fill their buckets right up. Watch for smiles to light up their faces. You'll feel like smiling too. A smile is a good clue that you have filled a bucket. If you practice, you'll become a great bucket filler. Just remember that everyone carries an invisible bucket, and think of what you can say or do to fill it. Here are some ideas for you. You could smile and say hi to the bus driver. He has a bucket too. You can invite the new kid at school to play with you. You could write a thank you note to your teacher. You could tell your grandpa that you love to spend time with him. There are many ways to fill a bucket. Bucket filling is fun and easy to do. It doesn't matter how young or old you are. It doesn't cost any money. It doesn't take much time. And remember, when you fill someone else's bucket, you fill your own bucket too. When you're a bucket filler, you make your home, your school, and your neighborhood better places to be. Bucket filling makes everyone feel good. So why not decide to be a bucket filler today and every day? Just start each day by saying to yourself, I'm going to do something to fill someone's bucket today. And at the end of each day, ask yourself, did I fill a bucket today? Yes, I did. That's the life of a bucket filler. And that's you. After I'm done reading, Have You Filled Your Bucket Today? I'll give my students a list of questions so that they can really have the book sink in. So my first question would be, who has a bucket? And this is something that's answered within the first 2 pages of the story, so they should, if not remember, figure it out fairly quickly. Number 2, how do you feel when your bucket is full or empty? Number 3, what is a bucket filler or a bucket dipper? Number 4, how can you fill your mom or dad's bucket? Number 5, did you fill a bucket today? And yeah, I drew that bucket under there, Miss Yates. Isn't it adorable? To check for their understanding, I will ask the students a series of questions as a group about the idea of the story, the idea as a whole, not just what goes on in the book, and how they can be bucket fillers themselves, and how they really shouldn't be a bucket dipper. The independent practice part is my absolute favorite. So I found all these cute things. So the top worksheet is, have you filled a bucket today with all the adorable colors? That's something I would just give to them. Have them maybe put it in their room, above their bed so they can see it and be like, have I filled a bucket today? That's a really good question. The one on the left is, how can you be a bucket filler? That's something I would give them as well, to maybe go over with their parents, because the words could be a little bigger depending on what age group, and just those are little tips on how they could be a really good bucket filler. The I am a bucket filler worksheet is just in the middle is something for them to color, something for them to make their own. The bucket filler pledge, I would have them each have one, and then we would recite it as a group class. And the I am a bucket filler certificate goes along with my next part, which is, so they would each get their own cup. It'd generally be a plastic cup. I didn't have any in my room, but it would be a small plastic cup. I would have them put their name on it. We would maybe decorate it a little bit, and it would be their own individual bucket. So their bucket would go on their desk, and throughout the day, I would set them up with pairs, maybe even throughout the week, and have the students fill the other kids' buckets with little pieces of paper, giving them a compliment, telling them they're awesome, or they're really pretty, or I really like their hair, or you're really smart. Something that makes them feel good about themselves. My reflection. With this lesson, I hope that my students understand the concept of bullying and what is right and wrong to say to other people. You never want someone to have an empty bucket, so you should fill it for them. No two people are the same, and that's awesome. Just because someone is different doesn't mean they should be penalized for it. Different can be good. You just watch. The end.